My name is JP Newman. I'm the managing member of First Capital Funding. We wanted to show you a few actual cases with some borrowers of some of the properties that we're doing here. With me I have Aaron Heth, our Vice President of Loan Origination, and Gary Bourgeois, who's our borrower, who's going to talk about this current new loan he's doing with us and a few other things as well. Aaron, you want to introduce Gary?
Yeah, sure. Gary is a client that came to me about 2 or 3 months ago. We've done 3 houses. This is Gary's 3rd house. He was new down here, moved to Austin from New Orleans, and called us up, was looking for some hard money lenders here in Austin, and I'll let Gary kind of speak to how we work over here at First Capital Funding.
I'm Gary Bourgeois. I just moved here from New Orleans about a year ago, and 3 or 4 months ago I met Aaron and did my first house in Delwood. We had no problems with First Capital making a loan. I had been around the block with a couple of other hard money lenders that really, I don't believe, had the money to lend. And when I got with Aaron, everything went really smooth. It took about a week. We filled out a loan application. Next week he approved it. Next week we closed it. I think they did on the first one, it was a 60% loan to value, of the appraised value of the house. The second one, it was probably 70%. This one's probably 65–70% loan to value. The thing I really liked about it was they pretty much had a real set process. It wasn't any fly-by-night deal. They approved the loan 1 week and closed on it the next. This house we're going to do a major renovation on. It's probably about 600 square feet now, and we're going to add about another 600 square feet onto it, make it about 1,200 square feet, and 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, update everything, new electrical, plumbing, HVAC, roof, total renovation.
So Gary, one of the questions that I have for you is hard money lending is always known as obviously the more expensive type of lending, but it's sometimes it may be the only option that someone like yourself would have, and so even though that the points and the interest rate can be rather high compared to what else is available in the market, or not available for that matter, can you give us an idea at the end of the day, by using hard money lending, what are you seeing as far as netting out in your profit? Can you give us an idea on the other 2 properties that you had, what your profit was or is expected to be, even after paying those fees?
It was still a good profit because, you know, as we know now, the banks are not lending money. They're definitely not lending any speculative money. So the prices of houses, your initial cost has come down. Mm-hmm. So it spreads, your margins stay about the same as they would if you went to a bank, because from what I understand, that everybody in Austin were renovating and buying and selling houses a couple years ago, and now there's only a few people left, so that puts more inventory out there, so it brings the price of the houses down to start with, and it makes the hard money affordable, which there's no bank lending right now. So I mean, the economies of scale and the way the economy is today in the lending market.
So working with First Capital Funding, you have noticed just a common sense underwriting, quick closings, which has helped your real estate business. Gary, would you be able to do what you're doing right now without working with a company like First Capital Funding?
No, I mean the banks just aren't lending money. There's no other market that I've found. For this is basically a spec house, it's a speculative venture. What I try to do is be the lowest price in the neighborhood with the best value.
That's great. Gary, can you tell us a little bit about your experience? How long you've been in this business, and I know you recently moved here from New Orleans, but just give us a little background about your experience.
I've been in it for about 25 years. I started renovating houses in the early 80s, and in the early 80s to the late 90s I did probably about 300 homes in the New Orleans area. Bought and sold them, renovated and sold them after the renovations. Did a lot of housing after the storm, and then things had really just slowed down in New Orleans, so I moved over to Austin, where I felt the market was going to be stronger.
That's great. And one last question, on this house in the background, what do you expect to make after paying the loan cost and realtor fees? What do you expect to net out on this one, if you don't mind sharing with the audience?
Probably like $20,000.
About $20,000? Okay, that's great. Well, good deal. Well, Gary, we appreciate your time, and you've been a great borrower. We love working with you, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Enjoy working with you.